Hi, my name is Santi. I live in Lawrence. It is early in a beautiful morning. It's Saturday, and I am about to post a publication on wildlife on this Facebook page, Lawrence Community. I do this. I've been doing this for the last 8-10 weeks, every Saturday. So this is the publication. And let's do it. Let's post it. And now, two things might happen. That this post is here tonight when I come back. Yeah, okay. Let's see if this is there. Most relevant news activity. Well, it's not there. It's not there. Alrighty. I'll double check. But the positive outcome is that tonight I was going to check after spending the whole day refereeing, and if the post was there, it wouldn't have been deleted and you wouldn't be seeing this. So the bad news is that you are seeing me, and now I'm going to do, if that post is not dead and have been blocked, I'm going to do what I feel I have to do, which is to expose the wrongdoings of the administrator of this page, because there's no reason for me not being able to post in there. So anyway, I'll try to make, and in the process of telling the full story, this might splatter other people. So I'm sorry, but if anyone regrets it, you can blame him, not me. I'm just going to say the full story of what has happened here, or what might have happened already. So, but I promise you something. I'll make it entertaining, and I'll try to make it relevant for everyone. So keep watching. Okay, I just read that the publication has been submitted for approval. So I have written another one that says, can you please approve my post? Thanks. Hopefully it will be there tonight. That evening, when I arrived home at 6 p.m, the post wasn't there. There was a private message to me, not from the main administrator of the page, but from the support administrator, written a few days earlier, responding to my query about another of my publications being deleted the previous weekend. I won't show her private messages, but I will show mine. Basically, this administrator said to me that she had a lot going on and that I would have to discuss the issue with the other administrator, as this was his action. Besides, he was her partner. As usual, I thanked her for her time and I informed her that I would do what I had to do. That was at 7 p.m. 1 hour later, the post was published. Too late for me. I didn't see it until Sunday afternoon, about 20 hours after being published. By then, I was already working on this video. And anyway, days later, the post was removed again. It seems that the administrator couldn't make up his mind. So what really did happen here? Nine weeks before, I started posting one post a week, always early in the Saturday. I always started with a happy weekend, and then I would post something about local native wildlife, because it is what I care about. They were all graphic or visual content posts. 5 contained videos, 2 photographs, and 1 was a World Wildlife Fund brochure that offers up to $45,000 to people that want to spend that money on restoring koala habitat. There was only one problem with the second video I published that said, this footage of butcher birds singing as a choir has made it into bird conventions around the world. That one was deleted only minutes after being published. I posted again, and it remained on the page after I informed the support administrator about it. By the numbers of likes and the icons that Facebook page gives for interactions, the posts seemed to be well received. But we got to the 9th week and I posted about a whale that I filmed in Iluka that had just died. Later that Saturday, when I came back from refereeing, the post wasn't there. So I published a comment asking why, and the administrator of the page responded, "All you post is links to YouTube videos. That to me is spam." It is true that most of what I had posted included links to YouTube videos on my YouTube channels, 2/3, not all. But can one post a week be considered spamming? I argued to the administrator what can be considered spam. All my posts were related to our village or the Clarence Valley, and people seemed to like them. Not until he used the word spam to refer to my posts had I read that word under my post, nor a single comment related to it. Not a single "what is this?" or "this is inappropriate." Nothing. It was only him that considered I was spamming the community, and his response to my questioning him? A bombshell. A man showing his true colors. And I am going to read it out, just in case you are watching this on your phone and it might be too small for you to read. Luke Denham, administrator of Clarence Community Facebook page, tells me, "Your last YouTube link was to a dead whale in Iluka years ago. We live in Lawrence, not Iluka. And don't you forget who is pulling the strings. This is my group that you asked to join. And if you have an issue, I am more than happy to remove you from it. This isn't Clarence Valley news. It's strictly Lawrence only. What part of that can you not figure out? I have to screen 30 plus spam posts and deny at least the same amount of people from joining the group daily. Consider yourself lucky to be part of it at all." Well, this is the king ruling. Let's pay attention to his words. Was the whale filmed in Iluka? Yes, it was. And also about Iluka were these other 2 posts that I spotted straight away. Those aren't spam for him? And what is Luke Denham, the administrator, posting about? Well, he seems to have a weak spot for the Clarence River Sailing Club. He can't have enough of it. They offer free hire promos, so I guess they rent out boats. And where is the Clarence River Sailing Club based? In Grafton, which is certainly not strictly Lawrence only. Congratulations, Luke Denham, for becoming the new commodore of the club. All those non-strictly Lawrence only posts on your Lawrence community Facebook page might have helped. Do I care that he uses the page for his own benefit? Not at all. Go ahead, everyone does. The shop, whoever wants to sell something or find something or offer her services, that's the purpose of the page, to connect and share anything, he wrote, for people to use it and to get something out of it in an active or passive way. I don't see anything wrong in Luke Denham posting on his page something like this optical illusion, or something so far from his strictly Lawrence only policy like his posting of this video from a Dutch farm. But he sees something wrong with my posts. And then I'll tell you what it is. Luke Denham, administrator, be free, enjoy yourself, but if you are not going to allow others to do the same, spare us your hypocrisy. Luke deleted his own comment, wouldn't you? But he decided to take down the whole post. There was nothing wrong in me responding to this person that questioned if I was a local, that I had marched on our Lawrence Anzac parade a few days earlier, and that I hadn't seen in the page any pictures of the parade or the children marching, but only of the plane that flew over us. And that, as a community, is something we could reflect on. He deleted that too. What was wrong with it? Maybe he didn't like that medal on the left side of my chest. Or maybe he didn't like the attached link. He might have thought that that was spam too. Maybe he didn't like to read at the end. This page is not helping. By administrators censoring critical comments and taking down posts of personal wins, they are empowering parochialism. A more open and constructive attitude would be appreciated. Thanks. Who knows what he might have thought. But if it was that bit of constructive feedback, why does he bother writing, "I would like some suggestions from members on how you feel I can improve the group and make it better for us all. I am also open to criticism in regard to anything you are not so happy about." Like we say in my native Spain, dime de qué presumes y te diré de qué careces. Tell me what you brag about and I'll tell you what you lack. A better suggestion for the page could be simply to replace the word community in the page name with the name of the administrator, and that will save a lot of time to everyone, especially administrators, who seem to be overwhelmed with managing this page. Someone responded to Luke Denan's comment to me, and that person was banned temporarily from the page. That person left the group disgusted and has now created another Lawrence Community Facebook page, where you are welcome and can be part of the administration. You can find a link to this page in the description of this video.
Hello friends, Santi and I want to share with you the trip we took at the end of last year. 2 months touring Spain and a little bit of France and Portugal.
And we get now to the second part of this video. I am not after anyone here, I simply can't be told shut up in such a bad way and remain passive. It is the wrongdoings of the administration of this page that I want to expose. And if the first part shows us discrimination, this second part is going to show us manipulation. Why did I decide to start posting on the page on Saturday morning saying happy weekend? Because I have had 2 previous incidents with this page and both haven't ended well. I wanted to change that dynamic and make a positive impact on the page. I posted my first happy weekend publication on March 25th. The same day I had written to the support administrator this personal message. Hi, I hope you are well. Why did someone remove my post of an illegal koala habitat clearance in road reserve 6 days ago? Her short response was that it was the other administrator who had done that. I didn't pursue any further explanation. I posted this short video on the page denouncing illegal koala habitat destruction on road reserve at Parkinsky Road because in the same area previous illegal destruction had occurred. And I am fed up with council that is not standing up for koalas and with people that take advantage of that. And as I said, I coped with the deleting of that post. And the same day, I decided to turn my whole participation in this page into a positive experience for everyone. Straight away, I published this first video about our Brolgas. Now, it is clear I didn't succeed with my intention. The happy weekend posts seemed to be a positive experience for many, but not for Luke Denan. And for my very first participation in the Lawrence community page, we go back to February. I heard about a post on there. I came to the page, read the post, wanted to comment on it, joined the group and responded. As you can read, I had something to say. You can stop this video and read the comment if you want, but basically it says that the owners of that property had chopped down a fantastic koala tree. And they don't care about koalas because I had been in a dangerous situation trying to rescue a koala from an electricity pole right outside their fence with their dog barking his head off at the koala and me right below us, and this person, the author of the post, was watching the whole scene and didn't even bother to call the dog off. As you can see, my comment didn't last long. It appears in pale letters because it had already been hidden. It shows as pending, but the comment was published. I saw it published. That person also saw it published, as she responded in such an articulate manner. More importantly, the reaction of that icon laughing at my comment is from the author of the post. So she saw it. She probably complained about it to the administrator and he decided to take me out of the picture. And I say he because all my personal messages on this page have been with the support administrator. And since these first messages to her, most of her responses have been, I don't know, I haven't done it, I'll have a look, or I have to deal with this and that and I don't have the energy for this. One administrator is stressed trying to cover up the mess of the other one. But that other one should respond to this. Why did he choose to hide my comment but leaves the insult to me there? Again, you can stop this video if you want and read it. But the only relevant thing there related to this story is the bit that says, if that day that stressed koala had jumped from the pole onto the lawn of the property, the koala would have been like a teddy bear torn apart in the mouth of a dog capable of seriously denting the collarbone gates of the property. And the author of the post reads my response to the woman who insulted me and responds to me, involving my wife, and writing, all we have done in this circumstance is slander her name with lies. Pretty dramatic. My wife had nothing to do with my comment under her post, and I don't lie. So I read carefully to see from where she is getting that impression, and it has to be the part about the dog, because she insists on that part. The gates were damaged by a car. The dogs just don't like me. Did I exaggerate when writing a dog capable of seriously denting the color-bound gates of the property? You'll be the judge of that in a couple of minutes. My responses were never allowed to be published, censored by the administrator. A conversation manipulated. A guy in the shadows choosing what could be seen and what couldn't, so as to decide who is going to be seen good and who bad. And that's why the woman that first insulted me comes back believing that I am erasing my comments and telling me that when she sees me in the street, etc. Why doesn't the administrator in the shadows clarify here that it is his doing, not mine? Because he is perfectly happy with this woman getting a worse impression of me that she already has? Because he is too busy manipulating another conversation somewhere else on the page? Not busy enough to keep hiding my comments on this post. I tried commenting under other posts and my comments there were visible. So it was just that my responses to this particular post were manually hidden. With no voice, I couldn't argue. My very first participation in the Lawrence community Facebook page had been totally manipulated by the administrator. And I chose then to lose this battle. I didn't make a video to expose this and let it go. The author of this post was ethically wrong. Obviously, the removal of one of our trees got a few people panties in a knot last month. Ha ha ha. Obviously, if she knew that her action had hurt people in the community, why did she want to rub salt in the wounds of these people? She uses a picture of the same koala whose habitat she has reduced to gain some brownie points and expects everyone is going to give her the thumbs up. But then I come expressing criticism of her actions and she becomes a sleep-deprived mother to a newborn. Why do people find the time to throw a stone but then make excuses about it? As I have just said, I let this one to pass then. I'm not letting this pass now, thanks to the administrator of the page. Imagine a sleep-deprived mother walking with a pram along this lane and that this dog managed to escape. I was ready to film this because I knew that it would happen. I was fed up with experiencing this on my walk every day. I changed my route because of this dog. Now, was I exaggerating? Is this a dog capable of seriously denting the color-band gates of the property, or is that a car? Who is lying? I don't lie. As we get to the end of this video, there are only two tasks remaining for me to do. One is to make the video which I said I would do even before I knew I would make it. Already, but I promise you something. I'll make it entertaining and I'll try to make it relevant for everyone. And the second is what I also told you I would do, to tell you what Luke Denham, the administrator, sees wrong with my post. The real reason for him wanted me to leave the Lawrence community Facebook page. We are going to start using the images of the same video that the administrator decided to erase from his page. As the Commodore of the Clarence River Sailing Club seems to like water, maybe that whale dead on an Iluka beach is appropriate. And a warning here that what you are going to see is a dead whale. Warning that also was in the publication censored. We are all little fish in this big ocean that is our society and the world. But some people like to entertain the idea that they are big fish in little ponds, and they put a lot of effort in holding onto that perception. They find what they think is their little niche of power, and they hold on to it with everything they have. Anything new that comes their way or touches them somehow, an idea, a person, technology, they usually feel it as a threat instead of an opportunity, not as something or someone that comes to add value to whatever they are holding on to, but something or someone that comes to take his power. And this is exactly the case here. When I came to live in Australia nearly 30 years ago and I settled straight away in this shire, I read something that struck me like lightning and I couldn't comprehend at all. I read that Australia had the highest suicide rate of young people in country areas around the world. I looked and looked around me, mesmerized by the beauty of where we live, and I simply couldn't comprehend that figure. That figure has haunted me for years. Not far from the house with the koala tree gone and the dog, in the same lane, lived a lovely, vibrant young teenager that took her own life at home. I remember her well. I taught her drama at Lawrence Public School. Now I know why young people take their own lives in country areas. Because they don't see the same as I see. They don't see the beauty. They see the lack of opportunities. They see pretty much the same they have seen since they were born, a stagnant community. And that's the result of we old folks putting all the efforts into holding onto our little niches of power. We don't want change. We don't want to be challenged. And if someone's tried to put their head up and be brave, we just chop them down. The same as we do with koala trees.
I made that. Why do you have to walk on it?
Why does this man think that he can come and abuse me out of the blue?
Hey.
For the same reason he chopped down the trees. Because he can. He is the king. And for him, I am nothing but part of his surroundings.
Go and ring the council.
Are you coming along with something different? I am happy to remove you from it. Not in my backyard, mate. This is my group. This was the comment from Luke Denham to me. I couldn't write like that to anyone. I keep thinking if at any time I have treated someone with that lack of respect and arrogance. And despite having written probably hundreds of responses that probably I shouldn't have written in the many years I've been earning my living on social media, I can't recall writing something so embarrassing. If I had written that, I would remember. And the thing is, I get insulted most days, and challenged and confronted, and I have been harassed and defamed, and it is a wild ride anytime I go onto social media because I run channels on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I have a Twitter account with over 2,000 followers without me following anyone, and in Facebook I have my own certified page with over 20,000 followers and my personal page with over 1,000 friends, having never sent a friend request. I accepted it all and enjoyed it all because it is the world out there. It is the community expressing themselves, giving me their attention, giving me their interest, and I feel very grateful for that. And yes, sometimes someone comes along and keeps bugging me, and I say to them, if you dislike this, why are you still wasting your time here? This is content that we are giving you for free. It is costing you nothing. Discuss it with respect or move somewhere else. But I say it with good manners. And you, Luke Denham, being the administrator of a community page, treating people that offer value to your page like that, when the people are the creators, not you, when the community are the ones that provide the content and the value to your space, you don't seem to have a clue about how to run your page. You won't find a disrespectful word in all my posts or comment, and what I have received from you and your partner is deleted posts and comments, and excuses about busy and stressed lives. No wonder you are stressed. That's because you are a control freak.
full of fears and insecurities, who acts on whims. And your partner is stressed because he has to run behind you cleaning up your mess. Have you ever had another person involved in the administration of the page? You need it. Let people freely express themselves and you will free yourselves. Of all you wrote in your disrespectful response to me, Luke Denham, you are most wrong about one thing. I didn't ask to join your group. I asked to join a Lawrence community group. The last thing I am interested in is to know about you and your group of mates. So yes, consider yourself lucky. I don't want to be part of it. There are plenty of open-minded people in our community.